the go-to caster trick is talk about a highlight player that you think could do something next year. But nobody wants to hear us glaze 1xN anymore, man. We've been doing it all year long, and it's just, it feels like, you know, it can only take you so far. You can only be potential man for so long before we start to lose a little bit of faith.
Just
maybe
ask
he can...
Josh Allen, you know? It's potential man forever.
Oof.
Yeah.
You don't want to say that on stream, brother, but it's out there now.
Probably not.
Best of luck to
that's
luck to you and your DMs. His first pick, Nefiri, going the way of Guwon. LNG gonna have to look for their first response here, but very, very well appreciated in the jungle for how much snowball potential that brings through. And I think Guwon's been really good at being able to take advantage of some of those more assassin-y junglers. The Kiana been a big pick for him. The Nefiri rising up there as well.
Karma taken. So maybe looking for a 1xN Ezreal to ramp up the first phase of draft. Of course, Ryze taking a bit of a deny that pairing from Nefiri. So curious if we get something like an Annie. Brings a lot of lockdown and something for Guwon to play to and play through. If not, Orianna's up and available. So looks like they're going to try and deny this Ezreal. And curious if we just get an Orianna for care now, as Nefiri can be a ball carrier. And it's a pretty positive matchup in a Ryze.
Yeah, I think it'd be great here. And, you know, traditionally, I think a lot of teams would ban Orianna here. But Kair's elevated himself to the position where he demands this Cassiopeia ban now. He's played 3 games of it this split. 3 wins, 3 player of the games for him. He has been excellent on that champion. And now it's in permaban status up against him. So, 1xN looking at the Sivir as his duo of choice for Karma.
I've never seen Sivir Karma and been excited about that draft. This is much better.
It's hard to beat.
Yeah, I just don't... I think Sivir needs space to auto-attack, and Karma gives her none of that. Even if she can get her out of the lane phase. But if you're Sivir and you can't auto-attack later, why are you even playing Sivir in the first place? But bot lane, mid rounded out for LNG. Of course, NIP, they've got to find their support. They do have a jungler, which LNG does not have. So, assume we're going to see bans targeted at jungle and support, try and protect the role that is showing that the enemy team has not picked up here from both teams.
Yeah. So, does give them an avenue to play through in bottom lane, just hard shove into this Ezreal, punish any kind of roamer that might get picked by Fengyue here, and, you know, try to just play for pure lane dominance. I wonder what direction NIP take, if they're just going to go for like a Bard or something for Fengyue and still choose to leave Photic on an island, or if they're going to try to fight back with some kind of lane-focused pick themselves. Nautilus going to be the early ban, looking at those potential roamers. I wonder if it's just a Bard ban here, just to make Fengyue's life a little tougher.
I think that or Rel. 2 champs that you could take away. Vayne ban sets up the potential blind Gnar that we've seen a lot. So, wondering if they are okay giving that one away for Sheer. If Hoya wants to play something else, of course, somewhat expecting Hoya that he's going to blind his champion in the end. So, I think he's okay blinding Gnar, but if that gets denied, still have answers in Ambessa as Seraphine taken away. That's a bit of a Fengyue special. And a little curious to see that taken away, because I don't associate Seraphine as a pairing with Ezreal.
I don't either. I guess if you were to try to, you know, stand and fight against Caitlyn Karma in some way instead of just roaming around the map, maybe it'd be an option for you, but...
They want Camille Gnar. I'm curious if LNG decides to deny the Gnar here. I think Vayne Poppy bans are really signaling that it's going to be Camille Gnar for NIP. Have Hextech Ultimatum try and attack. As WeiWei, you know... Oh, please do it. Please do the Bel'Veth. It's filthy OP. Oh, okay.
All right. This would have been,
I think everyone...
the adjusted Bel'Veth, too. This would be the adjusted Bel'Veth, correct?
I believe so. I think everyone at home that has faced that Bel'Veth believes the champion is stronger.
Gets the perma ascended form. That would be a spicy one to see, but no such luck. Sinjao for WeiWei here, and they're going to save Sheer's counter pick for last. Anyway, looking at this Pyke, I don't like to talk about hovers too much, but he's getting me excited with what he flips through, but it is going to be the Bard.
Tall man, dabbing forehead, ready to lock in on the Bard, going to do his best. And, I thought it'd be Camille with a Poppy ban, but I wouldn't want to play Camille in the Xin Zhao either. Gnar, of course, being picked up, but Bard, I think, gives Fengyue that option to try and fish with the Tempered Fates. Also might have been asking for the Bard ban. Just leaving that Camille up, but... Regardless, Sheer, it's been a struggle in lane for Sheer, this split. His laning stats, he is down over 500 gold at 15 on average. So, TF's a bit of a risky one into a Fury, but is a ranged matchup you can play in the Gnar, and we'll see if Sheer is able to pull it off.
Yeah, that's one I did not expect to see out of Sheer here, but they have the full list coming up here and a couple of good targets to get onto with that gold card, right? You don't mind, and in fact, it can be very effective at punishing this Orianna. You get some nice targeted lockdown for the Ezreal along with that Ryze. An extra threat here to keep things peeled off of this Caitlyn. Good synergy with the Xin Zhao when you do try to come in for any of those ganks onto any of the other lanes, or even towards top lane itself. So I don't hate the pick, but certainly curious to see how this is going to do in a lane up against Hoya here, who, by the way, we just spent the whole pre-show talking about his unique picks and unique approach to the game, only for him to slam the Gnar here in game number 1. But we'll see if he's going to still be able to, bring a little bit of that map play that we talked about to the Rift on this selection.
He's got the knowledge now to use it against Sheer, right? He's got the TF being played into him, the marksman specialist in Hoya. We'll see if he can pull out what he needs to make sure that they take this matchup. I think overall, NIP comp leans a little bit more towards the mid-game angle for me. I do think that LNG, they can use bot push or Ryze move to play fast. I like the scaling of this comp for Caitlyn. I think there's a lot of setup for traps. And usually, I'd kind of favor the scaling of NIP. But Caitlyn's scaling can be really sneaky. So I do think if 1xN is protected, could be a really big game for him and LNG on this Caitlyn. Look at Guwon.
Yeah, he's going for something early here. Not to interrupt our Jaios, but there's something going on here. Guwon will spot
Halo Blades.
WeiWei. Yeah. I mean, this is, not strictly buffed, but changed up, and we'll give a little bit of power to that brawling here, and we'll get that early health lead, and just wants to continue to bully WeiWei. 1xN now getting engaged on the bottom lane with the early damage from the Bard Ezreal. ICX taking a fair bit here as well. Photic keeps stepping up, flashes forward, picks up first blood, looking for YCX as well. Will not fire off that last Mystic shot.
Meanwhile, jungle.
Still, first blood 2 versus 2. And, wow. I don't even know what to say about jungle matchup.
He started W!
Nya's getting called over. WeiWei. Brother.
Guwon wins this. Oh, wait, it's double 2 for Nya. But you have a blast cone. I think Guwon's okay. It's only going to be a force out, and that's a freeze for Care. So we're 2 minutes into the game, and NIP is already heavily winning.
I can't believe it. This is ridiculous. WeiWei has to move up towards the top side.
He started W.
Guwon does claim the birds that he has fought so valiantly to acquire. He's got Fengyue in his back pocket. Oh my god, he's going to hit level 2. They're going to magical journey over the wall. They're going right onto Nya. The Cosmic Binding connects post-flash. Nya's too slow on it, and Care's going to pick up a second one for NIP.
I really hope somewhere out there that Monkey is just watching this game in pure enjoyment for the amount of absurdity that NIP just pulled off level 1. And you know what? Outside of the bot lane 2v2 kill, which I think is kind of illegal, taking down a Kate Karma like that, everything else was very illegal. Having a Halo Blades to Fury invade like that, Care freezing the wave, forcing Nya to respond, and Nya dies with the wave frozen on him and didn't have a TP. He burned his ghost, lost gold and XP, for the jungle to only go the same way, for Guwon just to be set behind like just a wee bit. And that's it. And man, bot mid already kind of disaster states here for our LNG team that's still looking for their first win within Group Nirvana.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even have the time with the jungle chaos to talk about the Caitlyn lane getting killed 2 versus 2 at level 1. Yeah. But that's definitely a problem for 1xN as well. And it feels like the kind of thing you never would have seen from 1XN with any of his supports over the last couple of splits, it really feels like he's lost a step here in split number 3.
But if I'm back in college coaching my students and we're losing 2v2s as Kate Karma, we're doing laps around the library afterwards. That's for sure. Not the start that 1XN or YCX wanted. As, again, I think that Kate has really good setup later on in this game. Like, you think about Kate scaling, the headshots, the traps, the ability to set that up off gold cards, off rune prisons, having the karma to empower you. I think Kate is set up for a really good late game. But man, the odds of getting there, and the odds of even being able to push Ezreal around at all early, if this is an accelerated Ezreal, your ability to throw your weight around mid-game with the Trinity Force on Gnar, Ezreal, and then the Fury spiking pretty early, I think that's something that LNG is going to have a difficult time defending against.
Yeah. Well, and here's Guwon and Fengyue up to their old shenanigans once again. This time, WeiWei waiting in wait to pick up a response, and it's a double kill right back into 1XN's pockets. NIP get a little carried away in their shenanigans, and they've just given the gold right back.
I do not think that Guwon thought WeiWei would be there, and I will say that was a bit of an odd spot for WeiWei to be in, because he had respawn Wolves, respawn Raptors, but a good read from the jungler of LNG to give his bot lane some much-needed reprieve, and we're back in shape. I see a Caitlyn with a BF sword versus a Tyr to Sheen. That's playable if you're 1XN.
Certainly gives you a nice little route back into the game for this Caitlyn after a pretty disastrous start. Fengyue not going to be dissuaded, though. He's going to get right back out here, looking to make an appearance on towards Sheer, who's still level 5. Locked down, gets the hyper proc, and at risk of missing out on this giant wave. WeiWei en route to be able to help him pick up at least some of it.
The WeiWei's here. Needed, or else pushing Sheer off would have been pretty dire for him and that matchup. I do like the attempt from Fengyue and NIP. Of course, things more in favor of LNG on the bot side, but nice feature of Ezreal is that you can always abandon that lane, and you can farm from 1k range as Photic. So A-OK here for NIP. Fengyue tries to help out Hoya, relieve some of the pressure, that TF versus Gnar matchup, and Hoya in good shape early on.
Definitely what you want to see as the Gnar. Getting yourself a little bit of a ways back in here. Sheer going to get that bonus gold from stacked deck to at least keep himself pretty comfortably generating gold. Has the Rectrix in the inventory, so it is going to be that AD Twisted Fate if the Lethal Tempo didn't already give it away previously. Care, though, building up a nice little lead in this one-on-one lane up against Nya. The early gank helping him quite a bit, as is a 2-level lead. Now I'm going to turn that into a 1-level lead here, but oh boy. Yeah, I mean, this is already a nice matchup for the Orianna with the range lead, and yeah, about 600 gold going to make it go from bad to worse for old Nya.
That matchup doesn't get better for the Rise, so will be something to see if he can play his way out of later on. But at the moment, curious what happens around this early dragon. I see a Kate Karma lane that's about to get chunked out very nicely. Usually I expect the Kate Karma lane. Yeah. Usually I expect it to be hunting for early dragons. I don't know if it's going to be hunting for early dragons.
Ooh, pretty short on that magical journey, but it's enough to get yourself out of spear range, and that's all that Fengyue really needs. Will be able to keep his health bar not too shabby. Both junglers spending so much time in and around this bottom lane in the early game, and for good reason. Very volatile lane, one where you definitely don't want to see either side get too far ahead, unless that side is your own. 1XN gets a second plate here, so the Caitlyn Karma lane still accomplishing its mission, even though it was a bit of a rocky road to get there. Will still find 1XN at a nice little gold lead here, about 7.5 minutes in.
The tricky part for me with the game state for LNG is outside of playing the Kate Karma, which the Rise can't join, I don't know what they want, like how they play out this mid game. I feel like they just get attacked by NIP if Nya can't move. And I like the fact that NIP have focused the Rise, because if he can't move from mid, the game gets a lot harder for LNG to be able to play out.
Hoya flashing away from this play nice and early here, recognizing that the Karma threat might be too much for him, and I don't think he's getting away from this. Already used the hop, no crunch to follow it up, and down goes Hoya. Gives Sheer the lead on the top side. Now Nya getting attacked in mid. Fengyue taking a fair bit of shots from 1xN in the process, though, and will be forced to back on away. Grub's name of the game now, but so many health bars now ticking for NIP. Hoya still missing. Will be able to TP back. They trade a Grub for a Grub, and now looking for more, going for the ulti combo. YCX flashes out. Now Guwon at risk of getting re-engaged on, calls the pack to dodge out on the ace of the hole from 1xN. True Shot Barrage going to take YCX a little bit lower. Care coming out through the magical journey. Face tanking whatever WeiWei throws at him, and they blow WeiWei up. LNG without the firepower to respond. YCX out of mana, and the rest of the team out of tricks. Oh, but Guwon locked down, walks up too close to Nya. Rune Prison lines him up for 1xN to take him down. Now Photic stuck inside the pit, does not have a way out until that E cooldown is up, and he's going to blink back over. This game, this is chaos, Cubby.
This is a Group Nirvana special so far, and honestly, good fighting by LNG, because that gets them all 3 grubs. Thought for sure after Hoya TP'd in, it would be a 2-for-1 shift. All right, I should say it was a trade on the first 2. It's a 2-1 for LNG, not all 3. But I thought it'd be 2-1 in favor of NIP after we saw Hoya come in, just given numbers and given that WeiWei went down. But good fighting, and an example of one of the combos that does exist for LNG with those traps, right? Because the Empowered Rune Prison in the trap, if you don't have Tenacity, that's going to be guaranteed chain CC if the Caitlyn's responsive, and 1xN was. As... Man, the root connected for YCX, and he flashed away. Well played by him. So he had the root going. Guwon kind of ulted through that, and then Magical Journey going to be enough to make sure they at least get the one. I think that WeiWei was trying to get to a point where he could flash over the wall, but stunned up. Not really a chance for him to get out. And we returned alive because bot lane's low.
Oh, Fengyue just barely getting that thick barred model over to block away this ace in the hole from Photic. Could have been the end of that Ezreal. They are going to get forced off of the play. Luckily for them, Guwon has rushed down this dragon in time before anybody will be able to get over there and disrupt him. But Sheer fighting a good fight here up against Hoya, has stacked up a lethal tempo solo kill to Sheer.
Sheer is bottom of the barrel when it comes to average gold diff at 15 out of our LPL top laners, but he took the extra gold stacking with the Twisted Fate. He's creating some of that gold himself now with the solo kills. And frankly, a couple of the issues / problems we had lined up with LNG Gordo have been solved early on in this game. It has been a 1xN that was able to step up and find some kills. It has been a Sheer that actually has a laning advantage instead of getting chasmed up there. Is this an LNG that can actually be competitive now in Group Nirvana? Because that has not been the case so far.
I'm not sold yet, Cubby. NIP have had a lot of games where they've fallen behind in the early game and have been able to come back through superior team fighting and superior macro play. I know it feels weird to talk about superior macro play when the game has descended the way that it has over the last couple of minutes, but it's still certainly in the cards, no sheer pun intended. I'm not an LNG believer again quite yet. I've watched 8 losses in a row. A 1K gold lead is not going to convert me yet.
He really came in here fading LNG today. I kind of respect it. It is
How
deserved.
could I not?
That was nice.
Oh, here's a play.
Hoya tucked the W. Yeah.
He's done for.
Hoya tucked the W on the double hop. He hid the animation for it. I didn't even see it as he got the flip off. That was very well played by Hoya. Now, good Tempered Fate. Fengyue to answer. The answer from LNG gets stuffed. NIP get a kill. They're farming more waves.
Good stuff. Fengyue there to cover, prevent any kind of clap back. Does mean that they're a little low on resources to defend this top side up against Caitlyn, who is going to continue to eat plates anywhere and everywhere she goes. Not a lot of room for Hoya to come in and contest this, even when those Cosmic Bindings do land. Photic trying to respond on the opposite side. Sheer with the Destiny to come and match that wave. But the NIP bot lane does have to, or not really bot lane, top support duo, have to retreat away from this top side. And That's just going to open up more avenues for 1XN to take more plate gold, continue to build up their lead on this Caitlyn, and you can see how much damage he's able to just pump out into this duo, basically without any chance for a response. Hoya steps on a trap, ace of the hole coming through, goes mega to be able to stay alive, but they're forced out of this. NIP have got to do something other than just have these two sit here, because they are getting torn apart.
Yeah, swaps coming in from top to bot. They're going to lose that wave. And honestly, good response here by LNG, because what they can do... Yeah, they're going to... good response from NIP, too. You can see their bot lane is going to walk mid. And they're going to, I think, try and guess where the Kate and the Karma are going to... I was going to say try to match, but... I see a Kate Karma sprinting mid. Maybe there's a potential play that comes down on the Care.
Potentially.
Oh, they're back top.
Got to be careful about stepping up too far here. I do think Care...
That was interesting.
Yeah. I think Care has been the most reliable carry for NIP this split. Definitely need to see him not fall victim to all this chaos. They are going to attack Sheer again. That's a shorted Shockwave. Perhaps was expecting Fengyue to step up a little bit more, but it's fine. All's well that ends well. Guwon gets his kill and will build up his gold lead even further.
This was a really interesting sequence that led to this, because both bot lanes walked mid, and then Care didn't go out to bot. Like, usually, I'm like, if your bot lane's walking mid, I'm kind of used to the solo laner just going bot to give the lane. Instead, LNG, they see Orianna rise mid, they're like, okay, we're going to go top, we'll keep on hitting the turret and hopefully trying to get plates, and then NIP just goes, okay, we have Bard, Nefiri, everyone bot, let's dive. And NIP comes out on top of the play, but... kind of a weird sequence there, and one that a little peculiar. Because, again, I'm used to seeing, like, if bot lanes are walking mid, I'm used to seeing Care at an even wave, he'll just go bot, and then we go from there. But no, he stayed mid, and they went for the dive.
Well, now going for an attack up on the top side. Dragon is spawning soon, but both teams fully committed towards dealing with this top lane. The fact that first turret gold went over to NIP, definitely a win for them, given how much effort has been put into giving 1XN these plates. Still does have plenty of gold from those efforts, and they're actually just going to rip the Herald here. Not quite as concerned with Dragon number 2. Want to make sure that they're going to be able to get themselves that big crab. And it seems like there will be no problem for NIP securing this.
Alright, no trigger pulled. Again, Realm Warp and Twisted Fate can make up for the lack of TPs on the side of LNG. Definitely will be able to answer the plays that will go down from NIP. But I just, again, I think the path to victory for LNG this game, a lot of it for me had to be around Nya. And just given what happened the first 2 levels, he hasn't been able to leave mid lane for the entire game.
Comfort Fate here, actually going to lock up 1XN. Photic waiting for him, pops the exhaust as soon as he gets out. There's the ulti combo from Guwon and Care, and 1XN the first to drop in the fight. This is not a recipe for success for LNG. Nya going to Realm Warp himself and YCX out to safety, but meanwhile Sheer dropped down as well. That's going to be 3 for 0 to NIP.
I didn't see how Sheer went down.
I did not either.
Yeah, looking like it's going to be more. Fengyue's rotating. Numbers for NIP.
Oh, Realm Warp already used. Flash already used. Nowhere for Nya to go. And that Cyclosaur does a boatload of damage. Guwon basically going to solo bolo that one. 1.5k gold lead to him. 700 gold lead to Photic. 1k gold lead to Care. 3k gold lead to NIP. And they're right back in this, well and truly in the lead. Before
that play started, Gordo, it was an even game. And now it is a 3k gold lead NIP as Guwon will get out of there. A-okay, but that opening to the fight, 1XN and YCX pushing in like that, it just can't get caught by Tempered Fate. I don't think that was one that 1XN was going to walk out of. Has to blow that flash before the Tempered Fate connects. Though on the fingers there, enabled for Photic to get the full setup where they chased 1XN through his flash, were able to find the kill. And again, when LNG's behind, I think they really need to use Gold Card, use Empowered Realm or Rune Prison, use the knockup from Xin Zhao to help set up for this Kate when they chain things together. When they get behind in a fight like that, there's no chance for you to actually get those pieces together and set up. And Ryze and TF also were kind of stuck in the 3 lanes. So just not the find they were looking for. as WeiWei was really throwing himself in this brush to try and get control of it. I can kind of understand this. I just think that net forward from WXN is so goddamn greedy. And he's doing it to set up the trap, but even then, it's a trap onto the support. Don't give up a tool like that. That then enabled Photic to get in there just right on top of 1XN's face from when he got out of being golden. So I think a really, really greedy 90 caliber net to try and chain the trap onto Fengyue, and one that Fengyue punished tenfold right away.
Definitely. And, you know, to a little bit almost too easy to be able to land this combo between the Nefiri Orianna ultimates when the flash is already down. No chance for 1XN to get away from that one. Seals his fate right then and there. The final outer turret going to fall down to NIP here. It's about a minute to go until Baron. I don't think this is a comp from NIP that wants to rush it too early, but maintaining control of his top side is definitely going to help as Hoya walks into 3, does have backup coming on through. Ulti combo, one-shot sheer, and now Tempered Fate to slow up the turret, allow them to move forward onto Dia. He loses half his HP from this poke combo, still stepping up, and will be thoroughly punished for it. Dies to the bleed of Guwon. NIP 2 for 0, nobody to get them off this inner turret.
And no one on LNG to get NIP out of the victory circle in this game 1 is kind of where things are heading here, Gordo. It was a good start. Outside of the level 1, like the bounce back bot from WeiWei was a good read. That was nice. Just sadly, I think Ryze dying mid level 2 with the wave like that and no TP was like that was a doomer angle of all doomer angles for mid at least.
Yeah, it was a rough one. And, yeah, I mean, it's got to give some amount of props to Hoya. I don't know if he knew there were 3 members up there, but he's putting his body on the line to get these fights started. Knows that he has teammates coming in through the blue buff. As I say that, WeiWei finds himself face-to-face with 2. Guwon going to be just fine. Has his pack with him, as well as the rest of NIP. And, once again, it's just going to be a siege on this inner turret, and that's what I was just talking about. They could keep forcing these plays. They're tanky enough with Hoya in the front line. They have the threat of the Cosmic Binding and the Tempered Fate. They could pull the trigger on LNG at any time.
They could pull the trigger at any time, but the Destiny of the Realm Warp.
Okay.
If NIP walk out of this after those 2 abilities were used. Oh, no.
Oh, and here's the ulti combo. Down goes Ya. If you're going to Destiny Realm Warp, you had best not miss.
How do you double global and miss the engage that bad? I know you're going up against an Ezreal Bard, but they double globaled and they didn't even sniff NIP.
So anyway, what were you saying about me being too harsh on LNG, Cubby? Any thoughts on that?
I casted some rough at ACL matches earlier today. This one's been rougher so far. Oh, no.
There's a TP from Care, just to get up into the top side. And Guwon, not dissuaded by this 1 versus 2, almost takes down YCX. True Shot Barrage would have done it, but does not find the mark.
I cannot believe that they popped Destiny, they popped Realm Warp, it wasn't synced up, they didn't find a single engage, and now it's just a free Baron for NIP, because there are no TPs that exist on LNG.
No, not even the globals. They used those already. So
they can't even get in close, Gordo.
Nah, yeah, they're fully zoned away. This is Baron for NIP. That's going to move them up to 7K in the lead. 30 seconds to go on Soul Point for them. They should be able to secure that, no problem as well. Off the back of this, Baron and NIP right back into form. A little bit shaky in the earlier stages, perhaps, but they find their moves, and they get themselves
Gordo,
right back into contention.
I have an uncomfortable truth that I currently have to confront with you.
All right.
LNG was better with Haichao. Very uncomfortable truth. Very uncomfortable. But at least Haichao won lanes, you know?
Yeah, I mean, this feels like dogpiling on the rookie a little bit, but...
A little bit. But, I feel like just Nyan... Again, Nyan for me has to be the linchpin of this team. He's got to be the one that kind of connects the maps, able to make plays, move around with his Xin Zhao. I know him getting set behind like that wasn't 100% on him, but it feels like the response from him and WeiWei this game, this has been a weak mid-jungle duo.
I feel like, yeah, I have more beef. I have more beef with WeiWei.
That's reasonable.
Just, yeah. I have more beef with WeiWei, just like walking up to the same birds to have the same losing fight with Guwon.
I have beef with him starting W.
Yeah.
Why would you start W?
Because you think you're not going to get challenged on your birds.
Yeah, he wanted to make sure the bird pit was clear to walk in again, right?
Yeah. Fengyue, maybe overexerts himself, but is able to flash back away from his own magical journey. Guwon gets in here. WeiWei throws down the Crescent card at a sliver. That'll be enough to keep him alive for now, but he's now forced out of the play. 1xN got to be at threat of stepping up now as Hoya does lose the Mega, but this Baroned up minion wave should be able to work through the turret in pretty short order. 1xN doing his best to pluck away at these health bars, but NIP not dissuaded. Get 4 plates before retreating through that magical journey. LNG going to try to chase them down. Fengyue gets his recall interrupted. Maybe getting a little bold with that one. Off the Realm Warp, hit right into the shockwave. It goes Guwon. This is messy, Cubby. As 2 members, 3 members going to fall from NIP. The counter throws.
He's going to lose it
as Photic gets hit by the gold card, trying to kite it out. He drops to WeiWei. 4-for-0 LNG.
Guwon sending it in with, I'd say 2/5 of a health bar left. Is that appropriate, Gordo?
That sounds right.
Yeah, and NIP keeping LNG in this game. Do I think this actually changes things? No. But is it nice for LNG, for 1xN to get a kill or 2? Get some gold on the Caitlyn? Yeah. This is a Caitlyn where I think if things get 4 or 5 items plus, Caitlyn can come back, but let's unfortunately look at this one again. I see Gnar made it back to base, and everyone's at half HP. And this got very greedy from the side of NIP. This is where I think an older Fengyue might be like, folks, it's time to bail.
Yep.
But the NIP team went, Brother Fengyue, you are the tree that is the rock of which we build our pajamas off of. And they could not let him go down alone.
Yeah.
I did not get through. I had the idea of the tree and the rock, Gordo. I did not improvise that statement well.
You stuck it. Don't worry about it.
We didn't stick anything.
Worry, there's a little bit of a mental heuristic at play here. Baron makes your recall faster. So sometimes you can shorthand that to Baron makes your recall instant. It's not quite that fast. And Fengyue gets punished by that one right there. Just seems to think like, hey, you know what? I'm out of vision. I'm going to press B. I have Baron buff. That means it's going to work out. And this is one of the rare occasions where it doesn't. Guwon, yeah, I mean, that's just, that's just sending it for the boys there. If one member goes down, we're going to take the fight. There's no defense of that one, but...
Yeah, shout out to the LPL for flying the graphic of a negative 3,500 Baron power play.
Love that.
Feels bad, man, for NIP. Do love that one. But diving in, we got both monster objectives spawning here. About 90 seconds on Baron. And then it's 5-6 seconds afterwards. Actually, I missed a perfect 6-7 joke. Because the objectives actually are 6 to 7 seconds apart. If you look at the clocks up there, Gordo.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ticking over to 8 sometimes.
You look too closely.
Well, mid-prio secured here for LNG. Is, about a minute away from either of those objectives. We're not going to get any more specific than that. Would be Soul for NIP. Baron obviously is Baron, so they have the power to make the choice which one they want to go for. It's kind of a win-win for them. Engage combo comes on through. Shockwave wasn't used this time, and probably a good thing. It would not have landed onto anybody. Guwon now forced off of the play. Doesn't have Hound's Pursuit. That is a little bit of a messy start here in what was going to be a 4 versus 5.
Sheer is stuck top. Does not have access to TP. So, gonna have to base and join. As that was a nice true shot barrage. Connects on 1xN and WeiWei no ult. Goodbye.
Yeah, no Crescent Guard, no nothing. WeiWei drops on down. And that's 20 seconds before the Baron spawns, 25 seconds before the Mountain Soul spawns. And no smite to contest either.
Uh-huh. This is why we felt like the negative 3,500 Baron power play was for nothing. At least partly why. Again, I just think if Rise, TF aren't able to play up, play aggressively, and start looking for picks or setting up with Kate, it's just a tough game. And this was a little bit of an awkward comp. I do think that pairing up a TF top, a Rise mid with a Kate Karma, it sounds like a cook, but it doesn't feel like there's anyone to really take up space. I mean, that was the best disengage we saw from LNG, but they used Crescent Guard to pull it off, and that's kind of what cursed WeiWei later on. As with him in the gray screen, Smite not... I guess it was used. Guwon cleans it up, and Mountain Soul secured for NIP.
That just makes it even harder now to try to find these engages off of the globals. Just a little bit of extra survivability for the members of NIP, and they've done a good job of keeping themselves as a collective for the most part, or at the very least, if Hoya's getting caught off at a side lane, they're usually very good about making sure that they're getting ample rewards for it on the opposite side of the map. This is one of those rare situations where he may be up a little far, but nobody going to move on him. He's well and truly out of vision, and now all of NIP regroup off the back of Kair's TP, and they're ready to rip this Baron. Tempered Fate finding its way onto 1xN. Fengyue full sended it, flashes for a fancy Cosmic Binding play that does not connect. But he's fine, it's okay.
It connected, it was just an instant Mikhails from YCX, well played.
No,
did help get 1xN out of that. Mikhails was popped by Fengyue too to get out of the back half, so well done Fengyue, and now the zoning starts. The Fengyue, no ult!
Yeah, just stepping up, thinks that he's got an angle onto Kair. Shockwave onto 2! Nicely placed with the left behind ball. Photic getting engaged out by WeiWei, does manage to survive. In fact, is now shifting forward to continue pumping out damage. It's a double kill to Photic. Make that a triple kill to Photic. And ready to run down Ya is Guwon. Give that a quadra to Photic. As Sheer, the last man standing, forced to Destiny out to safety. NIP, clean fight win.
Just felt like after level 1, I think what LNG's comp needed for it to work was for mid-jungle to be able to move around. Rise got a level behind, the wave was frozen by an Orianna that had TP, and Kair really took that and ran with it from there. As NIP going to clean up this game 1, and besides a sloppy Baron disengage, it was fun. Besides the sloppy Baron disengage, though, Gordo, this is a pretty clean game for NIP.
Yeah, it was messy at parts, but they cleaned it up by the end. NIP keep their win going and keep that loss streak alive for LNG, as much as they would like to say otherwise. That's 9 in a row for LNG. NIP still looking like the first place team in this group as they come back from what was a little bit of a gold deficit for a period of time.
Yeah, and LNG at 09 looking like JJ McCarthy right on the bench. So pretty tough times for them over there. Yeah, I got to chuckle out of you at least there for Gordo.
Yeah.
I've been making a lot of 9 jokes. The 5 jokes are too low-hanging fruit with Jaden Daniels, and he's actually really talented and good. The 9 jokes
it also feels like that meme's too fresh. I feel like it won't reach our LPL audience.
The 9 jokes are so good. They're so good.
The 9 jokes are evergreen at this point. We've got a whole year to marinate.
Maybe not, because he shouldn't play on that team. Should be the other guy, the tiny one. But speaking of not being able to play, outside of a few mistakes from NIP, I really just don't feel like LNG got in that game. It was the Baron they gave up. They didn't even get into the river for it, and it really was a fight where NIP was all at half health and said, "Let's turn and try and save our support." That allowed for LNG to get mid outer, and besides that, LNG did not make a lot of progress into that game.
Yeah, it was a pretty good closeout from NIP, despite some maybe laning struggles there. You know, they gave up that free triple over to 1xN earlier on. He had a lot of plate gold. He was up to about a 1,200 gold lead at one point, but they choose their moments wisely. They were able to pick apart some of those fights, and they were able to thoroughly punish fight after fight where Guwon and Kair were able to execute on that Hound's Pursuit Shockwave combo. That's an LPL gold graph if I've ever seen one. You know, it gets a little bit of northern movement at a couple of points where you might rather it not. But either way, NIP re-secure control. They get right back on the bull, and they take it home.
I can see where Guwon pressed star at 2/5 health.
Yeah.
I can see it right there. But still a pretty one-sided game. Who do you feel like your pog is for that one, Gordo? I think it has to be Fengyue.
Yeah, I think Fengyue is a good shout. I think he got them into a couple of messes. I think both of the parts of the gold graph where it turns upward are a little bit of Fengyue messiness. So if you want to give it to care maybe for a little bit of more reliability, a little bit of a better box score, I don't know if I would hate that the most in the world. But I do think Fengyue did a lot for the team here, and I would not mind him getting it either.
Not at all. Actually, I don't know if we can do it right now. I know that we have a lower third, or a CTA, which stands for call to action in marketing terms.
True.
While we edumacate some people at home. But it's for Care, and a potential All-Pro vote, Gordo, as he's someone that is on the All-Pro list for our Group Nirvana mids.
Yeah, absolutely. All-Pro voting is live. We have a little QR code for it here, if we could bring that up. But you can go and contribute to the LP. Not on this scene. All right, we'll bring it up later.
In a sec.
You can definitely go in, though, and get some voting going for your favorite All-Pro contenders over on the LPL English Discord. Get you that link later on in the stream, and contribute to who you think deserves some notoriety, not just from Group Ascend, but we'll have an All-Pro team for Group Nirvana as well. And I think Care's making himself quite the case to be on that list, Cubby.
Yeah, they beat IG twice. Just got to be Care. We aren't even covering Guwon, because it's just kind of assumed that Guwon and Fengyue are the 1-1s for jungle support, frankly, with what we've seen in Group Nirvana. But, yeah, this was, again, really outside of that one mistake. This was a very, very NIP-sided game, as nice engage from Care to make sure that things did go their way in the end. And this is an LNG that I just think continues to be very flat. I don't really know what the mission is with LNG, honestly, with the rotating supports. I really don't.
Yeah, unclear to me as well, but definitely do think that the Fengyue as well, another player that we could talk about. Here's our little lower third GFX here, if you do want to get in and give some love over to any of your favorite players from Group Nirvana or Group Ascend. Get in there, cast your ballot. They will contribute in part to our final All-Pro team for LPL English when the split comes to an end.
Yeah, I mean, for us, Care has been someone that was really hyped up at first, FPX stuck with, and I think that when Care kind of moved around or started to move around, the hype started to fall off at the end of his tenure with FPX, but I think what he's done with NIP, he's got us thinking that he might be that next up-and-coming mid laner, maybe yet again. As Guwon continues, I think, to have a really good split. We're a little bit surprised that it was Guwon Pog, but also, I think in a way not surprised. Fengyue did get the party started, but Guwon had very solid fights in the Fury. Good ball combos there, Gordo. Helped push NIP forward, and see if they can push NIP to a 2-0 after we get into the next game.
Yeah, I think a little bit surprising, but, you can't be too mad about it. That did have super high KP, did get a lot of those plays started with the old R press, so happy to see Guwon, and I guess did lead the charge on that level 1, which you got to give some credit to NIP for. So props to Guwon, walking away with a player of the game here. We'll see if he's going to be able to keep up that performance as they get into game number 2. Going to throw it to a quick break here, but do want to give a shout out to the coffee. If you want to support LPL English, consider becoming a coffee member. It's the best way to support the LPL English project, since the vast majority of your contributions go directly to the show. A lot of initial payments go to upgrade the broadcast, but a huge bulk of it pays on-air talent and content creators. If you subscribe to the coffee, you can unlock perks like early access to our content, like the LPL English podcast, and the ability to ask interview questions for unique on-site interviews. Worlds is in NA this year, so we're going to be there, going to have interviews, going to have the opportunity to ask your questions, but only if you contribute, so we hope to see you over there. We're going to be back after a quick break for game number 2, so stay